If you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe and become part of this community. Oh, and also, go cop that fresh merch and listen to my new album in the description. Is Donda 2 coming to streaming platforms? A question that we've asked ourselves ever since Kanye announced that Donda 2 was only gonna drop on the stem player, and then we got it through the stem player, and it seemed like he, never updated it. It's just kind of out there in the version that it was on February 22nd. When that dropped. So today I wanted to kind of go over what also happened with the single release of True Love that dropped today, because that is a very special situation that we kind of got to look at and see what does this mean for Donda 2 and the way that it's released or rolled out on streaming, maybe in the future to come. So let's jump straight into this. So Donda 2 was released on February 22nd of this year, only through the stem player on stemplayer.com, and I never really got a release on streaming platforms. I mean, even I imported all the files I downloaded through the stem player website into my Spotify so that I could have it on there, and I have been listening to this ever since I did that. And so there is ways to listen to it on Spotify and stuff like that. Of course, there's a lot of tutorials out there as well to do that, but it was of course the question if it was ever going to get updated, because it stayed in the same version as it always has, and if it was going to come to streaming this way, like officially. And we did just get a step closer towards that, because as all y'all have probably seen, we got a single from Donda 2 on streaming, True Love, the track list #1 on Donda 2, featuring XXXTENTACION, which is I think is an amazing track. I really liked that back when it happened. I liked the performance during the listening party, so this is really one of my favorite tracks on here. And we did get a streaming version of this. It's a little bit different than the one we had on the stem player website. Parts of the hook that X is singing is cut out or like just not repeated. Then Kanye's verse is not full. This is kind of like a even like tuned down version of it, while we thought we were gonna get like a better version of it. But don't get me wrong, I'm happy that it's on streaming. I'm going to be listening to it, but it's just kind of weird how this rolled out. People are quick to jump to assumptions like, oh, is Donda 2 now going to come to streaming completely just because this one single dropped? And I kind of have my thoughts about this. So just kind of going on what both of the artists are doing in their career right now, or like what is happening with the X documentary as well, is what I want to get at in a second. Kanye wouldn't just drop the single, or if he wanted to drop the entire record, he would have dropped the entire record. I believe that this single of, True Love only serves the purpose of having like a streaming, reference number, so that people watching the documentary of XXXTENTACION, which dropped yesterday on May 26th on Hulu, that they can have like a reference, streaming service site that they can go to and listen to the record. And I do believe there are some legal reasons behind this too. Maybe like every song that is, played during the documentary needs to be licensed through some sort of actual distributor. Maybe that has to do with it as well. I guess that's a big part of it. Otherwise there wouldn't just be one single dropping. I mean, we knew about this dropping for a very long time, but that's when people started making assumptions about Donda 2 actually dropping, but I don't think that this is actually the case. So the documentary does feature the track, and that is the interesting part about it. There's even a YouTube video on the official XXXTENTACION YouTube channel about the end credits from the documentary. And what song is playing during the end credits? True Love. So the song does appear in the official documentary. You can go watch the documentary, by the way, on Hulu. They have a special offer right now or something. I just looked at it, but it's called Look at Me, XXXTENTACION. I have personally not seen it yet because I don't have Hulu, but I'm gonna find some way to watch it anyway. Let me know your thoughts on the documentary in the comments and in the Discord. So this track is featured in the documentary, and also when you look at the way that it's released, it was published on both of their YouTube channels. So there's a version on Kanye's YouTube channel, and there's a version on X's YouTube channel, both having the artist name, back like the other way around. On X it says XXXTENTACION and Ye True Love, and on the Kanye one it says, Ye and XXXTENTACION. So that's kind of also a weird little part about it. And when you look at the Spotify version of it, like the actual streaming version, it is released not through Columbia or Sony that Kanye would release his singles through. If this was just a Kanye single with an X feature on there, like it was originally meant to be for Donda 2, it would just have been Columbia Records and Sony Music. But this is actually released through Bad Vibes Forever under exclusive license to Columbia Records. And I know they do this a lot. I know whenever other artists is involved, somehow the label, got like exclusive licenses in there and is working on some type of partnership with the other label. I get that. But that wouldn't be the case if this didn't have some sort of, legal background. I think, as I said, they needed to have a reference ID on Bad Vibes Forever on that distributor to kind of attach it to the documentary, just so they could clear and license all the music used in the documentary. And that is the only reason that this single did get released on streaming. And I don't think that this is actually an indicator that Donda 2 is going to come in its entirety to streaming platforms. I think that's a little bit far-fetched, and when you logically, rationally think about it, that is not the way that Kanye would do this. He wouldn't release singles that we've already heard as part of a whole album just as singles to then later on drop the whole record. That just doesn't make sense. Also, the way that this is modified, it just seems like this was made like I don't want to say a radio edit or like a clean version, but it just kind of seems like a light version of the actual song that we had on the Stem Player website. So it's even weird that we thought this album was going to get updated more and more, and now we're getting even weaker versions of the tracks. So that all kind of points towards the fact that this just needed to get out there to have some sort of reference ID for the label, for Bad Vibes Forever, and for the documentary to reference, so that they can license, clear it all, and they're kind of clean when it comes to the business side of things, and there's no weird stuff going on with, oh, this was only released on a website, you can't license that song for a documentary, anything like that. I guess that's the true reason. I think we're still gonna have to wait some time. I think Donda 2 will get updated on the Stem Player website first before it becomes available on streaming platforms, if it does get updated at all. So that's kind of whatever Ye space Ye is in right now, I guess we're just gonna have to deal with it like that. That is kind of my take on this and how I feel about this whole thing now, rolling out like that. But do let me know your thoughts on this. What do you think about True Love? Do you like this new light version that we have from it? Have you watched the documentary? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What were some of the most important aspects you learned from there? I've seen a couple of clips, for example, the one where he got released from jail and found out he'd been blowing up and going viral on the internet. I think that was very emotional and crazy to think about, because we've just witnessed this kid's whole career like that in just such a short span of time. I think I'm going to be making another video on the documentary once I've seen it, because that is a very personal subject and just for hip-hop fans. So all your thoughts on this, please let me know in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and y'all take care.